Jaime Jaquez, man. Good time to have a show. Just dropped your career high. Dropped your
Yeah,
first 40 ball in the league. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Just unfortunate that we couldn't come out with the W. Um, so that's kind of how I'm feeling.
Looked like you were getting downhill, getting to your
Yeah, yeah,
spots.
yeah. Definitely being able to get to my spots. I think my teammates found me on a lot of good plays, a lot of good assists. We just couldn't close it out. But it's all good. We got another one coming up Wednesday. Looking forward to that.
You know, it's interesting. After the game, Spo talked about clarity of role. And I think it's a lot easier to find your role when you're a specialist, but you're more of a guy who's very versatile.
Yeah.
Is there challenges in that in finding your NBA role?
Yeah, I definitely think there can be challenges. We kind of got a new team compared to last year, so a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces. But I will say, yeah, now that you bring that up, I kind of do feel what that is a little bit. Being able to do a lot of different things, impact the game in a lot of different ways. It sometimes is difficult to find out which one of those things you need to do specifically, in a game or in a series.
Take me back to the beginning of your basketball development because it's always interesting for me to learn more about how people worked on their game. How did you approach getting better as a basketball player when you first started playing?
One of the things that I like to do is, I think it's always important to get in the gym and get up shots and reps, but I was a guy who believed in like playing pickup a lot. So, every summer, just trying to find the best runs around my town or around my city and just play against older guys to try to really push myself to, become better, get more physical. And you also kind of learn to win. Um, I use this example like, you're waiting to get on the court and you finally get on, you don't want to have to wait again. So you're going to figure out a way to get it done and win that game. At least that's the way I took it. When everybody's waiting to try to get their fives going, winners always stay on. So you just find a way to stay on and keep playing.
I would assume during an NBA season that looks a little bit different because obviously you're getting your reps in games. So is it more about getting skill development reps during the season, getting shots up, working on your handle because obviously you're not going to be able to play as much when you're not
Yeah,
playing?
yeah. Well, I guess I take that. That's usually. I guess I misinterpreted your question. That was kind of when I was like younger, growing
No,
up.
no, no. Now I'm transitioning to the NBA.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of my day consists of getting up a lot of shots, from all different angles, working on my handle, working on finishing around the rim, working on really like minute details when it comes to shooting, watching a lot of film as well. That kind of consists of NBA practice day, or I guess my day if we're not practicing, a lot of individual work of my skills coach. And yeah, it's a lot different than college for sure.
What's the biggest adjustments from college to the NBA game?
Well, I think everything is just happening so much faster, and guys are just so much better. The game is 24-second shot clock, so guys are doing anything they can. Sometimes early in the clock, where versus college, guys will, I guess use up all the time on that shot clock to get the perfect shot. When some guys, if you're open, you got to shoot it.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because your college coach, Coach Cronin, talked about how many roles you played in college, and that was one of the reasons why the Heat were interested in you. Right?
Yeah.
Has playing so many roles you feel helped you along your journey in the NBA thus far?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's part of the reason why I got to where I am is my, I guess, development from a youth to, throughout my collegiate and professional career, learning how to do different things, learning how to be the guy, learning how to take a back seat, learning how to, be, X, Y, Z for whatever really the team needs. So I think it's very beneficial. I think it's a, unique way of development just because, some guys are, a lot of times they know exactly what they are and know exactly what they're going to do. Whereas I guess that comes from, I don't know, the way I was taught how to play basketball, just to do a bunch of different things.
When I watched your draft day, you were lost for words for sure, but the word you did use was manifestation. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, it was something that I've always dreamt about as a kid. It was my number one goal is to be an NBA player. I love basketball, so obviously, a kid has big dreams. They're gonna think about that all the time. And I remember one time I was in class, and my project was like career day. And usually the teacher he wouldn't let people use like professional sports as one of their career. because he, thought like you got to be realistic. But for me, he let me do it because he's like, I believe that you can do it. So that was a really cool moment for me. So like I said, from a child in middle school days, that's always what I wanted to do.
Since you're in the league now, what have you been manifesting?
Just continued success and a long career. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Trying to establish myself as well, and ultimately, win a championship. Win a championship here. Wherever my career may lead, but ultimately to bring a championship for sure.
Speak to what makes Coach Spo unique.
Oh man, yeah, he's an incredible coach, incredible character of a man. He's hard to describe. I don't know.
I think when we're thinking about the best coaches, we're thinking of Kerr,
Yeah.
we're thinking of Spo,
Yeah.
we're thinking of Coach Pop, and he's definitely in the mix there. I was
For
just
sure.
like kind of thinking about. I think it might be his competitiveness.
For sure, that's one thing that I think separates him from a lot of guys is he really wants to win. He's the ultimate competitor. He eats, sleeps, lives basketball. Which makes him so great. He knows so much about the game, and when it comes to game plan and preparation, I don't think there's anyone better than him.
I have to ask you about Rob because the way I look at shooting the basketball now is so different than before I met Rob. So just getting to know Rob, what have you learned about being a better basketball player? But even more importantly to me, like, how do you look at shooting the basketball differently? Because every time I watch somebody shoot the basketball or even I shoot the basketball, I just look at it from a totally different perspective now.
For sure. No, Rob, he's one of my favorite people, man, in the entire world. I've gotten to have a great relationship over this, 2 years now that I've been with the Heat. But he's taught me so much. I never knew, like, some of the things you see him do, you're like, what in the hell is that? But go up and do it, and it just somehow makes sense. And he's got such an incredible way of, like, teaching and making it so effortlessly, like with the precise words that he uses, the way he describes techniques. Like, you want the ball to feel like light coming out of your hands, like a feather. You don't want it to feel heavy. Things like, just move it over to your hip. Like the littlest things, like put your hand here, let it go just a hair lower, get an inch, and you do it. And you can see a difference. And he's such an incredible coach, man. And, really happy that I've got to work with him.
I mean, there's no regrets because you could only do with what the information that you have at the moment, right? But like, I always look back at it like, I wish I knew Rob when I was a little bit younger.
Same. I wish I had him my entire career, man. I'm blessed to have him now.
For sure. What's your favorite Jimmy story that you could share?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I'm trying to think of some. I remember this what was it? This past training camp. We were in the Bahamas, and he had rented out an entire, like, giant crib for all of us to just come over. We had a big barbecue, just all the guys. It was right on the beach. We went in the water, and it was just one of the coolest experiences ever. And it was really cool that he just got everybody together to, get ready before the season, and it was a lot of fun.
You learned a lot from him?
Yeah, I did. I learned a lot. I mean, he was an ultimate competitor from the one-on-one games to the shooting games. He always wanted to win, and he taught me so much about the game and how his business works.
Who do you know what I was thinking about? Like 3 dribble max, one-on-one. I would look at KD as probably maybe the toughest guy to beat one-on-one because
he's pretty incredible.
Because, I mean, like, all he has to do is contain and contest if you're playing 3 dribbles, and then if you play great defense, he can shoot right over. If you put all the NBA players in a one-on-one contest, who do you think would come out on top?
Man, I think KD is probably one of the leaders in that category of coming up on top. Just because, I mean, he's just so, he's athletic, he's long, he can play defense, and, I mean, obviously he can shoot from anywhere on the court. There's nothing really anybody can do to stop it. So I think I would take him number one probably.
I mean, you're a great one-on-one player. And a lot of your game is you're great at posting up, right? You're great in the mid-range. How has it been for you? You there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, all good. How has it been for you playing in NBA that's going a little bit away from the post up, a little bit away from the mid range, as that being one of your strengths?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I think the regular season and the playoffs are two different animals. I think for in the regular season, it's all about live and die by the three. Efficiency wise, when you plug the numbers in, that's just the way the numbers come out. However, I think when it comes down to clutch time, winning time, and you're in a grind and a battle, and guys are taking you off the line and taking away the paint. There's got to find a way to score at that point. And I think in the playoffs you see a lot of that coming back. And you look at the history of basketball. I mean, some of the greatest players, they were all assassins when it comes to the mid range, just because it was such a deadly shot. Like you can't, you run them off the line. You can also stop them getting to the basket, but they just rise up and shoot, a little 15-footer. It's hard to stop.
Yeah, I mean, you were always drawn to that, right? You like Kobe's game, you like DeMar's game, you like Jimmy's game, and I think we see that a lot in your game.
No, for sure. I mean, I used to watch Kobe highlights and go practice them at the park like every day. So that's what I would do.
Taking it back, I know we're jumping all over the place a little bit, but taking it back to when you were drafted and hearing a lot of the buzz, like really good college player. I mean, it sounds good, but sometimes it feels a little bit like a backhanded compliment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What did you feel? How did you feel about all the skepticism you heard about your own game when you were such a great college player?
I mean, I just let my game do the talking for the most part. Go out there, just try to prove myself every night. I knew people weren't going to think much anyways of what I could do. So,
Why do you think that though? Why like what do you think the hang up was?
I don't know. I don't know. I just think that's what people had assumed and stuff like that.
You think some of it's like the age thing and the potential thing?
It could be. I mean, I don't know. There's been a lot of great players who have came out after 4 years and done tremendous things. I mean, Buddy Hield's been a great player. He's had a great career so far. Jalen Brunson was another guy. There's another one on the top of my head I'm thinking of, but I can't remember. But there's a lot more than I think people give credit to, I guess.
How do we improve the slam dunk contest? You were a contestant. How do you feel about that?
I have no idea. I don't know really what you can do at this point. I think guys have just gotten so good at dunking and so like I don't really know of another dunk that anybody could do that's really gonna, I guess, shake up the world or shake up the internet.
Do you think part of it is because we're seeing all the best dunks all the time on social media?
I think it's getting numb to it for sure. Like you can go watch highlight tapes and the craziest mixtapes where before it was kind of rare to see dunks like that. You would only maybe hear about it, I guess, in the past. But I think people getting just desensitized to crazy dunks, and everyone sees it all the time now, I guess.
What's the biggest misconception about playing in the NBA?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. You got to give me some misconceptions that people think. I'm trying to think. I'm blanking.
Well, I think people just see the games and they don't know everything that goes into it.
Yeah. Okay. I guess like the defense part, or like guys don't play hard, or guys don't do like I think guys do, and I think guys are just really really good in this league. Like I think basketball has just gotten so much better. Like not too long ago, we had just broken the franchise record for most points scored in the game. And I was talking to some of my teammates after the game, and I was like, how I know basketball is just getting better and improving? Because I remember from middle school to high school to college, each one of those teams had broken the school's record for most points, or team's most points scored in a game. And I feel like that's probably going to be a trend. And I'm sure, in 10 years, that record's going to be broken and broken. I think guys are just getting so much better. So,
you think the players are just more skillful, not that the defense got any worse, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also really hard to play defense in this league the way it's officiated as well. I mean, it's kind of like they talk about like A to B movement, when you're going in. So say this guy's, I guess he's the offense, is the defense. You can't like meet him like right here. You have to like ride with them to the basket. You can't really bump, or else it's a foul. Or they'll try to draw the contact on you, and then it's a foul. And I think it's also part of I think it's also like a skill, learning how to like, manipulate the refs and try to get those calls. But it's just a different game.
And do you feel like it's a different game between the regular season and the postseason in terms of the way they call it?
For sure. I feel like right after All-Star break, you can sense a whole different way of officiating. It's a lot more. They let things go a lot more, and I guess it's a lot more physical game. It feels like post All-Star break.
Playing on the USA Select team, what did you learn about LeBron's game matching up with him?
I mean, he's the greatest basketball player in the world for a reason. I think more than anything, I just saw his preparation, like, from before he even got onto the court, like what he did to get his body prepared, his mind prepared. Everything is just so detailed and dedicated. And it's really impressive to watch. And then you can understand how this guy has been so great for so long. Because if you just do that every single day, I can't imagine how good, someone would be with that meticulous.
What are you excited to work on for your own game in this offseason?
I'm excited to work on a lot of things. I just want to continue to improve my shooting, my ball handling, my playmaking, my defensive awareness. Do a lot of time in the film room this offseason, and learn.
This might be a tough question for you because I haven't heard a great answer for it. You mentioned ball handling. You mentioned shooting.
Yeah.
Obviously, you could become way better at those. How does one become a better playmaker, a better passer, better at reading the game?
I think just studying the game. I think watching a lot of film.
Yeah.
You start to recognize like the patterns of like certain defenses, and so I guess if you have that knowledge previous and you go into a game understanding the reads that you need to make and the reads that are available, or you come off a pick and roll, there's really only three things you can do. You can drive where the guys are in the corner, throw the lob, and stuff. I guess go behind. Multiple things you can do, but just I guess watching and seeing the mistakes of some of the reads and just learning from that.
So we talked about a little bit about the mid-range game, the post-up. Are you thinking about changing up your shot profile? We saw that a little bit from Tyler this year, and he became an all-star. Is that something you want to do, or you want to stay with what got you here? Is that something you've been thinking about?
Yeah, definitely. I think more so like a team shot profile. It's overall like it's not necessarily individual. We have a team, I guess, shot profile of shots that we want to take. How many? I mean, that just goes to show you, Spo, man. This guy is to the T's, man. That was everything. So I don't know. I guess just kind of stay within that range and try to find my way within there.
It's interesting how different teams approach the shot profile because I even see James Harden take a mid-range shot, and if he was playing back at the Houston Rockets days, we would not have seen that. So things are starting to shift back a little bit. I actually do appreciate that they tried that though, that they went like full analytics.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, they had a real good shot.
Yeah.
A couple injuries here and there. I mean, goes a different way. I don't know.
Yeah. Jaime, great stuff. You're always welcome back on the show. Congrats, 41 points.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Man. You were definitely a bucket today. But was it because you knew you were coming on Combos Court, so you knew you had to drop 40?
Man, I was just happy to get my opportunity. And unfortunately, like I said, it was an empty 41. We didn't
No, it wasn't. No, don't do that. It's a great way to end the season. Come on, Jaime.
Nah. We'll take our moral wins.
Thanks, Jaime, for taking the time. You're always welcome back on the show, and talk soon, man.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.